My name is Alabi Enoch Adetoluwa and I had 371 in the recent UTME exam. I'm planning to become a robotics engineer in the future, but presently in Nigeria there are no universities offering that course per se, and I believe computer engineering provides both the practical and the software experience that I would need to lay as a foundation for robotics later on in the future. A striking story that I remember on my journey to UTME was the preparation I made. Having to juggle between going to school and reading, because I would have to wake up as early as 6 to prepare to go to school and come back very late at night. So usually there was not much time again to read and to sleep as well. So I had time trying to juggle going and reading personally. So basically I would have plenty syllabus that I've not yet covered. I'll have subjects that I've not yet been able to read, and I'll keep dragging them and postponing them till weeks and weeks, and I won't lie, it was dragging me down. But when it got to the holidays, when I was free during the weekends, I tried to cover them, and by the grace of God I was able to cover them up. How I use the TestDriller app: after reading when I was in school, like I said earlier, there was not really much time. I had to juggle between reading personally and going to school. So what I usually do is that after reading my books during the week, during the weekend there's a Saturday challenge that TestDriller offer. So I test my knowledge of what I've already read on that challenge. So basically I'm taking JAMB every week based on what I've read that week. And after doing that, on Sundays or later in the day when I'm free, the topics that I read during the week, I go to the practice mode, set questions only on that topics and answer them, proving to myself that okay, I know what I've read, I understood what I've read already. Okay, the house features I used in TestDriller, the UTME challenge, the practice mode, the career aspects, the game aspects. So the challenge, as I explained earlier, I use it to take mocks, to take JAMB every week, to have that JAMB experience every week, to also boost competition, because when I see the leaderboard I would want to be top of it. I want to be on top. So every Saturday, every week, I try to read as much as I can so that I'll be able to beat those on the leaderboard. In the practice mode, majorly I do not take the full 2 hours. On that practice mode, I take it topic by topic. I can read, let's say for example, separation techniques in chemistry, and I go to the topic center and I answer every question that they brought out on that topic from the years that TestDriller provided. So that's basically what I do on the practice session. Then in the career aspects, sometimes when I'm bored or when I want to just know some information about some schools, the more of the course I want to study, I just go there and I roam around, check what it's about, gain some information. And in the game aspect, you're also learning from it, but in a fun way. So I just go there and relax as a relaxation exercise. My favorite feature and the most used feature is that practice mode, where I can pick a particular topic and answer every question on it. Personally, I love it because I don't have to start looking for past questions and looking for the topic or where they ask the questions in. I can just go to that place, check how frequent they set this question, answer every question on it, do it as many times as possible to make sure I have solid foundation on it. About 30 of us wrote JAMB this year, and let's say around 8 of us had above 300 and the remaining got 260 and above. It was only I think 3 people that had lesser than 250 or lesser than 260. So in my opinion, I believe that that's an 100% success rate because we passed more than 50% of JAMB score. So the technique I used to read, I used Pomodoro's techniques, I used the Feynman techniques, and in the exam I started with chemistry, then I moved on to English, then physics and maths in that order. When solving for maths, I can't think of any tricks right now per se, but the one that I'm most fond of is when I have to solve for 2 answers in a particular question, and the options already have the two answers written there. But when I start solving and I get the first answer, I just go through the options. The one that has that first answer, I will just pick it without having to solve for the next one, thereby saving time, and I'll have more time for the next questions. One of the reasons why I think students find it generally difficult to achieve high scores in English language is because, unlike other subjects, in English the marks allotted to questions are not the same. Some questions carry higher marks, some questions carry lesser marks. So candidates can miss one question and be unfortunate to miss a question that carries higher mark and ends up losing most marks in English language. Number two, other subjects, they have a fixed syllabus or a fixed range where you know that, okay, if you are reading this topic, if you are reading this section, they can only bring questions from this particular place. But in English, even if you know that they are going to bring from synonyms and antonyms, let's say for example, you can't possibly learn all the words in the word and know their synonyms and know their antonyms and know the stress. You understand? So when they bring the exam, maybe when they set the exam, some of the words you might not have heard them before, and some people may be lucky and they might have heard it before. So those issues are reason why I think English is the most difficult to gain high marks in it. For me, personally, the section I think that was difficult for me, especially when I was practicing, is the comprehension part, because most of the times they are usually filled with ambiguous words, and apart from that, when you're answering them, you think this looks like the most obvious answer, and by the time you check your answers, by the time you're vetting, you realize you've missed most of the questions on it. Although fortunately for me, God helped me in my exam, the comprehensions were a bit easier, so I think I was able to answer it very well. Apart from comprehension, the other part I think is also difficult is the synonyms and antonyms part, where you have to be very fast and vast in words. You should be able to know plenty words, their synonyms, their meanings. Those sections I believe are the hardest part. My advice to students who are trying to score high in English is that the sections in English that are easier to study, like stress, sounds, grammars, concords, all those parts, that they should take it seriously and try as much as possible that, okay, fine, if I'm going to miss any other ones, at least I'm sure I'm getting these ones. And then for other parts like the closed passage, the comprehension, is basically practicing. When the practice makes perfect, the more they practice, the more they have an idea of how to go about it and the best way to handle it. And for synonyms and antonyms, also the same as practicing. JAMB will set at least a bit of their questions from past questions. So the more you practice past questions, the more likely you see repeated questions in that sections. So at least out of 5 questions in synonyms, you should be able to know, or should be knowledgeable about 2 or 3 of the words. Also, there are some words that you might not even have any idea of, but looking at the options, you can see that probably 3 looks similar, and then there's one odd one. There's a 50% chance that that could be the answer, instead of just guessing blindly. There are various techniques people can use to learn. My favorite is the Feynman technique, and the reason is this. 1, after reading, to be sure that I understand, I look for someone, and if I can't even find someone beside, I can just stand up, look at the mirror, or speak to nobody and explain what I've just read. If I'm unable to explain it, it means I have no idea about the topic, and I go back to read it and I try to explain it to see if I actually get it. Doing that, I don't forget what I've already explained. Since I've already gotten the concept, it's now stuck in my brain. And another technique I feel helped me is the Pomodoro's technique. The Pomodoro technique is a reading style that enables you to just read for a particular amount of time, let's say 30 minutes, then take a break for another 5 minutes, and come back again 30 minutes, take a break for 5 minutes, and you continue to do that rotation. The reason why I like it is because it avoids burnout, it avoids stress, it makes reading interesting, because you don't have the mindset that you're going to read for 3 hours, 6 hours. what is in your head is you're only reading for 30 minutes. You're taking a break, you're coming back to read for another 30 minutes. And by the end of the day, you would have seen that you have covered most topics without even having to stress about it. Specifically, I do not have a particular amount of hours that I fix to read every day. Instead, I have tasks to complete. So I just make sure I complete that task in a day before I move on to the next. So I can have like one topic or two topics. I can have a particular year of questions to solve. So any amount of time that it takes me to solve or answer that question in that particular day, that's what I do. But throughout, I don't think I spent less than 1 hour 30 minutes in a day. But usually I don't have a specific time interval to read every day. Firstly, it's my dad that usually pushed me to strive to be the best and get the best scores and not settle for less. And in addition to that, I have a future goal of being a robotics engineer, which I've already mentioned. And I believe striving to be the best, going for excellence, not dulling, always working hard, will let me get my goal faster than I'm even thinking of, and be the best in that sector. My parents, they helped me by pushing me. Like I said earlier, my dad pushed me every time, saying I had to get above 350, I had to get above 350. That encouragement was one of the reasons why I strived. I did not give up, even when I was having issues, even when I was having difficulties trying to complete some tasks. Also, the prayers, especially from my mom, my other family members, my aunts, my uncles, the prayers from them also helped me in times that I was on my lows. And my teachers in school, they will come in the nights, in the weekends, leaving their family behind just to teach us, just give us extra knowledge. Some teachers that will even entertain us will go to their classrooms. They would welcome us and they will explain when necessary. Sometimes they even stay later than other teachers just to give us more information and help us to score higher in our UTME. And other mentors, I have a particular tutor that helps me, especially in my chemistry. It was one that even showed me and taught me all my techniques, my reading techniques that I know. And all in all, I'm truly grateful to them, and I appreciate all their efforts, and I prove to them that all their efforts were not in vain. And above all, I thank God for giving everybody the strength, giving me the strength, and giving me grace, and also blessing me and covering my JAMB results with extraordinary favor. Yes, I'm truly grateful for the support of everyone in TestDriller, even having to travel to just come and appreciate their top scorers. I also appreciate everybody there for their consistent efforts to help everybody using the app. Even recently, before the start of JAMB, they made a WhatsApp group where they added all TestDriller users are writing JAMB in a particular group. The effort that it takes to manage these groups, the idea that even brought about creating those groups, is truly something to note about, and I'm truly grateful for their efforts. I will recommend TestDriller to anyone trying to take UTME in the coming years, because one of the reasons why I think people score lower in JAMB exams is because of the tension. JAMB is one of the, if not the most important exam every year, and everybody are in tension because you can only take the exam in a year, just once per year. So they don't want to score less, they are scared from their family issues and everything. And TestDriller already provides mock experience for JAMB. So imagine you have taken JAMB thousands of times before even writing the main JAMB. By the time you are going to do the real one, it's just be like another TestDriller exam, and the tension would have already left. Secondly, JAMB sets questions from past questions. At least 50% of their questions comes from questions they've already set, probably reworded or rephrased. So when you practice with TestDriller, you are not wasting your time because you are literally practicing what might come out in JAMB. And also, TestDriller also provide analysis of your performances, your growth, how well you have been reading, where have you reached, so that you have an idea, or a big idea of how ready you are and how prepared you are before writing the exam.
I am Professor Alabi And Enoch Adetoluwa Alabi is my son, truly my first son. I ensure that my son was enrolled in a school that I know that is standard, where his teachers could teach him well. And obviously, I told him some certain goals that I wanted in his score, especially in JAMB. I told him that I don't want anything less than 350. And so because of this, whatever he asked me, I try to give him. A number of times we've gone to the bookshop, he will tell me that his teachers recommend so book and so book. I will ensure that I buy them without having to hesitate. And I remember at the point I needed to get him extra teacher to come home to be teaching him and mentor him, because that teacher once scored a very high mark in JAMB. I think he got also above 300 and currently studying medicine in University of Ilorin. So I employed him and I spoke to him to come and mentor my son too. So he comes home, and at a particular time when he has challenge with chemistry, I got a special chemistry teacher who also come to guide him. So in all this, I haven't set a goal for him, and in fact the goal wasn't just to him alone. I told the principal of the school that if my boy doesn't score anything above 350, I'm going to fight them in the school. And I constantly mention it to him, and I remind him daily. I told him that, well, you are brilliant enough, all you need to do is to put in more effort. If you put in more effort, if you sit down and read and you trust and pray to God, you will surely come out with success. So I wasn't surprised when he came out with that score, a magnificent score that even me in my life I never imagined to score. I still remember my own JAMB score. My JAMB score was 204 and my son scored 371. So I got so excited. I was actually at work when I saw the score, and I screamed and I shouted, and several of my colleagues ran and asked me what's the problem, and I showed them the score, and they were all shouting, and they were all excited. 371, I still can't find it. It's still like a dream to me. But in all, I'm grateful to God, and I'm happy that my son and my boy made me proud. Well, I don't know much about those apps because that is not even my line. Of course, I'm a teacher. By all grace, I lecture in the university. But much of those things I don't know. But I encourage him that whatever app, whatever I needed to get, that we enhance his knowledge. And that is why I employed mentors, teachers who are not versed in the recent thing. The days we did JAMB, it wasn't CBT, it was written paper. So things have actually changed from my own generation to his generation. So I have to bring those who are actually familiar with the current thing in his generation to, mentor and tutor him. So all I did was to just support him financially and whatever he needs. So the app, I don't know, but I know that he should just do it and he should just get it well, and whatever he needs I supply. About the study life of Enoch, it's so amazing that I got to his room one day and I checked. I discovered that he has timetable to study, and he actually wrote out his goals, including the one that I've set for him, and he wrote it and placed it on the wall. And at that point I got excited because that was actually the technique I also used when I was in school. Setting a goal, placing it in a conspicuous place where you can see it, and that will constantly remind you. I know he stay awake at night to read. I know sometimes I just bump into his room, without his notice, and I see him reading, and I try monitoring that, and I discover that he constantly read. And by the time I discover that he knows what he was doing, he knows when to read without even being pushed, without even much encouragement. So I got excited, and then I just do one or two little check, and that's all. In fact, with less check and enforcement on his reading, he read without stress, without much coercement. So I'm happy about that. Yes, the app maker, well, they are good in what they did. They have simplified the work for my son and been able to guide him with the current reality. Well, as a teacher too, what I tell and encourage students generally is whatever method, whatever strategy that works best for you, that can enhance your understanding and your person making distinction, then you must use such model. So there are a lot of innovation, technology world now. So we are not static. There are a lot of shifts in the narrative. So they have been able to simplify things for these students to be able to get to understand the current reality, especially with the CBT in JAMB. So I want to appreciate them and encourage them that they should continue more, because this generation, we call them Gen Z, their own way of study is quite different from ours. So whatever app, whatever implementation or model that we enhance them studying, they don't sit down like we. Those days we sit down at a stretch 12 hours reading, but they can't do that. So whatever way or model that will suit this young generation, and they have been able to provide that, I think that is a very good one for them, and I give them kudos and more grease to their elbow. They should do more. I want to thank the organizer for the award for my boy having used their app and excelled in it, being one of the top scorer. I want to appreciate them for recognizing him. And honestly, this is actually a motivation for other generation. That shows if they could use the app and come out successfully, they will also win an award. So I especially thank them for the award given to my son, and it's going to be a courage for others who uses the app, that if you use the app and you score excellently, certainly they will come again to reward you. I want to thank them, and I thank them, and I thank them again.
My name is Mrs. Alabi Ruth, and Enoch Alabi is my son. He's my first son, he's my firstborn. So I'm the mother, and he's my pride, he's my joy. Enoch scored a very high mark in the JAMB, and this really made me happy. Actually, right from when he was small, he has been amazing me, with his scores in schools. He has been one of the best in school, and most times the best in his class, most of the time. So he got to secondary school, especially the secondary school which that he graduated from Hill City Secondary School, to be precise. He came into the school, and he has been one of the best. But when he got to the senior class, when he got to his class, I discovered that there was a particular girl that normally score higher than him, maybe with few marks, and his daddy used to tell him, how can you allow a girl to score above you? So he has been, most times in the subject, he has been, there are some girls that have been, coming up before him, maybe just few marks, and I've been encouraging him, make sure you try to beat them. Don't let the girls always carry bow. It got to a time, actually in SS1, normally they are not really like preparing for UTME then. They are not really motivated at that time, but at least they are reading and they are studying their books and so on. But got to SS2, I just discovered that he changed. His daddy bought them a table, that's himself and his younger sister. They bought them a table and a chair for reading. So he has his own in his room, and in his room he has pasted his goal for JAMB, especially the score that he said that he wants to score. I saw it. I saw it one time. I said, wonderful. So the score he put was that last year, 2024, the highest scorer in Nigeria, I think, scored 267 or so. So he put it that he wants to score higher than that 367. So he pasted it there that he wants to score. And I look at that paper, I say, for this thing we have pasted, God will do it for you. And when I saw it, whenever I go to his room, I see the paper as well. I pray on it that this goal you have set, you achieve it in Jesus' name. So in that SS2, he started reading. In fact, he has a timetable, and he follows that timetable strictly. He will read. Once he gets to a particular time, I think 12, he's going to sleep. He's going to sleep off, and he will wake up early in the morning, go to school, come back, take his meal, rest a little. He will tell me it's almost time for me to go to my to start my reading. He will start reading again. So he maintained that thing consistently. I was so happy that he has to discipline himself. He has a timetable. He follows it strictly. When it's time to sleep, he sleeps. He will tell me that food is not ready. I've been nothing to eat. My reading time is almost on. He will read it. So I look at it that God, you have to favor this boy. You have to crown his effort with success. And another thing is that, not like before, this time when he get to SS2, he used to fast, he used to pray. As he's reading his book, that's why he's also reading his Bible, and he's praying, and he's serious, maintaining that his timetable, and being disciplined to to achieve it. And I've been doing that, and I know that for doing this, you can't be doing this, you can't be diligent like this, and God will leave you. God will leave you. Sometimes whenever he's reading, I place my hand on his head and I pray for him. He said amen, and I live like that. So when they did the JAMB, when they did the exam, I was the one that took him there. So when he was writing the exam, I was there in the vehicle praying for him all through the exam, praying for him and telling God. In fact, then I was saying, God, more than 380, that he was saying that he wants to score more than 367. I said, let him score 380 and above. That was what I was even praying. So I was praying for them in the exam, pray for him till he came out of the exam. We also prayed and we came back home. So fast forward to when the result came. Actually, I was the first person that saw the result because he used my number for the registration. So I was called by one of his teachers in school that help us to check Enoch's results. I say, So I picked my phone. They told me what I'm going to, do. So I did it. And as the thing was coming up, I just saw 375. I said, wow, thank you, Jesus. I was so happy. In fact, I was the only one in the office then, in my office. I was so happy that God, you did it. You did this. Number one, it scored more than the goal is set. I said, God, I thank you. God, I thank you. I was so happy for that. So, I called the school and then gave them the score. So I was so happy for the score. I was and I was really grateful that God really crowned his efforts with success, because the way he reads, the way he disciplines himself, the way he, practice, you follow the timetable and use this TestDriller. In fact, I know that you can't settle for less, you can't go for less, and God really did it in his life. The TestDriller app is a very, very good thing. In fact, very, very good, because at the time I told you that let me bring a past question. Do you have past question? I hope you have everything complete. I'll be talking of past question, but you tell me that TestDriller has provided all. TestDriller has provided. I said, wow, this TestDriller must be a very, very good thing. In fact, I told some children, because me too, I'm a teacher, I teach in a school, and I tell some people that what are you using to read for your JAMB? What are you using to read for this and that? You don't know about this. They say that they have a lot, So I just, leave them. But, this TestDriller really help you. It will tell me that, every day they used to provide past questions in there, and it has enough to prepare for there. By weekends, he's going to sit, at a particular time that he wants to come and write mock in the TestDriller, and when he's writing that thing, he's going to follow it as if he's actually doing the real exam. You follow the time, but from this time to this time, I'm inside, I want to do the mock, no disturbance, and he's going to do the thing just as if it's being supervised by JAMB organizers. So TestDriller is a very, very good app. I really love it, and I will also like to recommend it to others as well. So it's a good thing. Yes, he said it's from school, that they started it from school with them, and I think he downloaded it on his app, and I think he paid for it as well. There's a sum that comes with it. He paid for it, and he started using it. I think it's from the school, as he said. I want to say a big thank you to TestDriller for this innovation, and for this for what they've done, and this app they've brought out, even for students to practice UTME, is really a very, very good thing. I really appreciate them even for this, because in fact, for the fact that they attached the monetary reward even to it, will ginger the students that practice it, that are using it, and even others that will be coming after them, they too, they want to use when they discover that they are giving award. So it's a motivation even for students that are coming up, that truly they did what they said they would do. They know there is evidence, that yes, they came to our school, they came to this, I heard it, they've given this and this, a reward. So it will motivate other students. They want to do the same. That this money is not, just a small thing. Let me also try my best, and it will help them. When you attach reward to something, when you are giving somebody work and you attach reward, the person wants to do it with all his heart. So something like that 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 thing that they've done really, help students, really move them to want to read more, even though they've been playing, if they hear about it, they want to do more. Apart from that, the way the thing is built is really very good and helpful for them. So I really appreciate TestDriller for this, for that recognition, for the award. In fact, they've done a great thing. I pray that God will continue to bless the organization. It will not go down, to continue to go up, and it will continue to go up and higher, and to help students, and God will bless them more in Jesus' name.